Success is a lonely business, and most people would rather fail together than succeed alone. They'll form support groups for their mediocrity, book clubs for their excuses, and coffee meetings for their complaints. But when you decide to actually do something about your life, suddenly you're the crazy one. They'll call you obsessed when you work weekends. They'll call you antisocial when you skip parties to build your future. They'll call you arrogant when you stop asking for their opinions. The truth is, extraordinary results require extraordinary sacrifice, and most people aren't willing to pay that price alone. Something might surprise you. The people closest to you, the ones who claim to love you most, will often be the first ones to tell you that your dreams are too big, your goals unrealistic, and your plans bound to fail. I know this sounds harsh, but it's the truth. And if you're going to make it in this life, if you're going to build something meaningful, you better get comfortable with the idea of doing it alone, even when nobody believes in you. You see, most people live their entire lives seeking approval. They need their friends to nod their heads. They need their family to pat them on the back. They need their co-workers to say, "Good idea, that might work." Ask you this: what happens when that approval never comes? What happens when everyone around you thinks you're crazy for wanting more? Do you quit? Do you shrink back into the crowd? Or do you find the courage to believe in yourself when nobody else will? I learned this lesson early in my life. When I first started talking about personal development, about changing my life, about building something better, you know what people said? They said, "Jim, you're a dreamer. Jim, you're not cut out for that. Jim, why don't you just be realistic and get a regular job like everyone else?" Even my own family looked at me with those eyes that said, "Poor Jim, he just doesn't get it." But here's what I discovered. Being alone in your pursuit doesn't mean being lonely. There's a difference. When you're working towards something meaningful, when you're building your future, when you're becoming the person you were meant to be, that solitude becomes powerful. It becomes your secret weapon. Because while everyone else is sitting around talking about why things can't be done, you're out there doing them. The truth is, success requires a kind of loneliness that most people aren't willing to accept. While others are watching television, you're reading books. While others are complaining about their circumstances, you're changing yours. While others are sleeping in, you're getting up early to work on your goals. This isn't antisocial behavior. This is what it takes to create an extraordinary life. Now, why do people not believe in your dreams? It's not because they're mean-spirited, though some might be. It's because your dreams make them uncomfortable. Your ambition holds up a mirror to their own limitations. When you talk about doing something big, something different, something that requires courage, it reminds them of all the things they wanted to do but never tried. You see, most people have made peace with mediocrity. They've convinced themselves that average is okay, that settling is wise, that dreaming big is foolish. So when you come along with your plans and your enthusiasm and your determination to create something better, you're disturbing their peace, you're challenging their worldview, and they don't like it. Your friends might say, "Who do you think you are?" Your family might say, "You should be grateful for what you have." Your co-workers might say, "You're taking too big a risk." But what they're really saying is, "Please don't show us what's possible, because then we'll have to face what we're not doing with our own lives." This is human nature. People tend to project their own limitations onto others. If they can't do something, they assume you can't either. If they're afraid to take risks, they'll try to convince you that all risks are dangerous. If they've given up on their dreams, they'll try to get you to give up on yours too. Society has trained us to think small. From the time we're children, we're told to be realistic, to have a backup plan, to play it safe. We're taught to color inside the lines, to follow the rules, to not rock the boat. But extraordinary results require extraordinary actions. And extraordinary actions often look unreasonable to ordinary people. Here's what you need to understand. Their doubt has nothing to do with your potential and everything to do with their own fears. When someone tells you it can't be done, they're not making a statement about the world. They're making a statement about themselves. They're telling you what they believe is possible for them, not what's possible for you. So what do you do with this information? You learn to build unshakable confidence from within. You stop looking for external validation and start creating internal validation. You become your own biggest believer because you understand that if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Self-reliance isn't just about being independent. It's about developing such a strong relationship with yourself that you don't need others to confirm your worth or validate your dreams. It's about trusting your own judgment, your own instincts, your own vision of what's possible. This requires discipline. Every day you must choose to believe in yourself, even when the evidence isn't there yet. Every day you must choose to take action, even when you don't feel like it. Every day you must choose to persist, even when others are telling you to quit. You become your own coach. Instead of waiting for someone else to motivate you, you learn to motivate yourself. Instead of waiting for someone else to encourage you, you learn to encourage yourself. Instead of waiting for someone else to push you, you learn to push yourself. You also become your own critic, but in a constructive way. You learn to evaluate your progress honestly, without being harsh. You learn to correct course without losing confidence. You learn to grow from failures without giving up on your dreams. The beautiful thing about self-reliance is that once you develop it, external validation becomes nice to have rather than necessary to have. You stop being controlled by other people's opinions. You stop being paralyzed by other people's doubts. You start making decisions based on what you know is right for you. This freedom is incredible. When you don't need others to believe in you, you can pursue any goal, any dream, any vision that excites you. You're not limited by their imagination. You're not constrained by their fears. You're not held back by their limitation. But how do you actually do this? How do you succeed when you're going it alone? First, you create your own support system. Since the people around you might not provide the encouragement and wisdom you need, you find it elsewhere. You read books written by people who've achieved what you want to achieve. You listen to recordings of successful people sharing their strategies and insights. You study the lives of those who've overcome obstacles similar to yours. Books become your friends. Audio programs become your coaches. Successful people's stories become your inspiration. You surround yourself with the thoughts and ideas of achievers, even if you can't surround yourself with the people themselves. You also establish daily disciplines that move you toward your goals. Every day you do something that makes you better. Every day you do something that brings you closer to your dreams. These don't have to be big things. Small, consistent actions compound over time into extraordinary results. Maybe you read for 30 minutes every morning. Maybe you practice your skills for an hour every afternoon. Maybe you make 5 phone calls every day to build your business. Maybe you write for 20 minutes every evening to finish that book. The key is consistency, not intensity. You set up your environment to support your success. You remove distractions and temptations. You create reminders of your goals. You organize your space to make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Your environment should be working for you, not against you. When criticism comes, and it will come, you learn to handle it constructively. Not all criticism is bad. Some of it might contain valuable feedback that can help you improve. But you learn to separate useful criticism from destructive negativity. You take what helps and ignore what hurts. You also practice selective association. You can't always choose your family, but you can choose how much time you spend with negative people. You can choose to limit conversations about your goals with people who consistently discourage you. You can choose to spend more time with people who support your growth, even if they're hard to find. Remember, you don't need a crowd of supporters. You just need a few quality people who believe in growth and possibility. Sometimes you find these people in unexpected places. Sometimes they're not the people you thought they would be, but they're out there. As you continue on this path of self-reliance, something amazing happens. You develop a unique kind of strength. It's the strength that comes from knowing you can count on yourself. It's the confidence that comes from having overcome obstacles without depending on others to save you. It's the wisdom that comes from making your own mistakes and learning your own lessons. This strength is different from what most people possess because most people have never tested themselves this way. Most people have never had to rely completely on their own resources, their own determination, their own belief. But you have, and that makes you formidable. Here's something interesting that happens when you succeed despite the doubts of others. Those same people who didn't believe in you suddenly become believers. The family members who told you to be realistic start asking for your advice. The friends who said it couldn't be done start wanting to know how you did it. The co-workers who thought you were crazy start treating you with respect. It's human nature. People respect results. They respect success. They respect those who prove them wrong in a positive way. But here's the beautiful part. By the time they become believers, you no longer need them to believe. You've already developed the internal confidence that makes external validation unnecessary. You've also earned something that can't be taken away from you, self-respect. You know what you're capable of because you've proven it to yourself. You know you can overcome obstacles because you've done it. You know you can achieve goals because you've achieved them. This knowledge becomes part of who you are. The respect others give you is nice, but the respect you give yourself is priceless. When you look in the mirror, you see someone who didn't quit when it got hard. You see someone who believed when nobody else would. You see someone who had the courage to stand alone in pursuit of something meaningful. This is how you build a legacy, not by waiting for permission from others, but by giving yourself permission to pursue greatness. Not by seeking approval from the crowd, but by earning approval from yourself. Not by playing it safe, but by having the courage to risk failure in pursuit of success. The world needs more people like this. The world needs more people who are willing to stand alone when necessary. The world needs more people who believe in possibilities rather than limitations. The world needs more people who are willing to do what it takes even when nobody else thinks it can be done. But it starts with you. It starts with your decision to believe in yourself even when nobody else does. It starts with your commitment to persist even when the path gets lonely. It starts with your willingness to do the work even when nobody is watching or cheering you on. The time is now. Not when you feel ready, not when others believe in you, not when the circumstances are perfect. Now, today, this moment, you have everything you need to begin. You have your mind, your will, your desire for something better. That's enough. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your dreams. The only permission you need is the permission you give yourself. The only approval that matters is your own approval. The only validation required is your commitment to begin. Your dreams are valid whether others understand them or not. Your goals are worthwhile whether others support them or not. Your vision matters whether others share it or not. You matter, and what you want to create matters regardless of what anyone else thinks. So start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Take the first step, even if you can't see the whole staircase. Make the first move, even if you're not sure about the second one. Begin the process, even if you don't know exactly how it will end. Remember, every person who ever achieved anything significant had to start somewhere. They had to take that first scary step into the unknown. They had to believe in possibilities that others couldn't see. They had to persist when quitting seemed reasonable. They had to do it alone, even when nobody believed in them. You can do this too. You have that same potential within you. You have that same capacity for growth, for achievement, for creating something meaningful with your life. The only question is whether you'll use it. The only question is whether you'll have the courage to believe in yourself when nobody else will. The choice is yours. You can spend your life seeking approval from others, or you can give yourself permission to pursue greatness. You can let other people's limitations become your limitations, or you can break free and show them what's possible. You can wait for believers, or you can become your own first believer. I challenge you to choose courage over comfort. Choose growth over stagnation. Choose action over excuses. Choose to believe in yourself, starting right now, even if nobody else does. Your future self is counting on the decision you make today. Don't let that person down. Do it alone if you have to. Do it afraid if you must. But do it. Start today. Your dreams are waiting, and they've been waiting long enough. Share something with you that took me years to understand. The very qualities that make you different, the very thoughts that make others uncomfortable, the very dreams that seem impossible to everyone else are precisely what make you valuable. Your uniqueness isn't a liability. It's your greatest asset. I remember talking to a young man once who wanted to start his own business. Everyone in his family worked for the government. They had steady jobs, predictable incomes, guaranteed pensions. When he announced his entrepreneurial plans, they looked at him like he'd lost his mind. His father said, "Son, you're throwing away security for a pipe dream." His mother worried he'd end up broke and homeless. His brothers laughed and said he'd be back begging for help within 6 months. But this young man had something they didn't understand. He had a vision of what was possible. He saw opportunities where they saw only risks. He felt excitement where they felt fear. And most importantly, he was willing to bet on himself when nobody else would. 5 years later, he owned 3 successful businesses and employed more people than his entire extended family combined. The same relatives who had discouraged him were now asking for jobs. The same people who called him foolish were now calling him lucky. But it wasn't luck. It was the result of believing in himself when belief was all he had. This is what happens when you develop the courage to stand alone. You don't just achieve your goals. You become living proof that the impossible is possible. You become evidence that dreams can come true. You become an inspiration to others who are afraid to try. I'll tell you something else. The path of self-reliance isn't just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about validating the voice inside you that whispers, "You can do more. You are meant for more. You are capable of more." That voice is there for a reason. It's not there to torment you or make you dissatisfied. It's there to guide you toward your potential. It's there to remind you that settling is a choice, not a necessity. It's there to keep you moving toward the person you were designed to become. Most people silence that voice. They tell it to be quiet, to be reasonable, to stop causing trouble. They choose comfort over growth, security over possibility, acceptance over excellence. But you don't have to make that choice. You can listen to that voice. You can trust that inner wisdom. You can follow that internal compass even when everyone around you is pointing in a different direction. Here's what I've learned. The people who achieve extraordinary things aren't necessarily the most talented, the most educated, or the most connected. They're the ones who refuse to accept ordinary results. They're the ones who kept going when others quit. They're the ones who believed in possibilities when everyone else believed in limitations. They understood something fundamental about success. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's about having the perfect commitment. It's not about knowing exactly how everything will work out. It's about knowing that you'll figure it out as you go. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being willing to search for them. When you operate from this level of commitment, when you make this kind of decision about your life, something shifts inside you. You stop making excuses and start making progress. You stop looking for reasons why you can't and start finding ways that you can. You stop waiting for ideal conditions and start creating them. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily choice, a moment-by-moment decision to believe in your ability to create the life you want. Some days it's easy, some days you feel unstoppable. Other days it's hard. Other days you question everything. But you keep choosing belief over doubt, action over inaction, persistence over surrender. And here's what happens as you continue making these choices. You start to see results. Small at first, maybe. A skill improves, a habit forms, a goal gets achieved, a dream takes shape. These results fuel your confidence. This confidence fuels more action. This action creates better results, and the cycle continues, building momentum and creating the extraordinary life you envisioned. But remember this, Success doesn't eliminate the need for self-reliance. In fact, it increases it. When you start achieving your goals, new challenges appear. When you start building something meaningful, new obstacles emerge. When you start living differently, new critics arrive. Success doesn't make the path easier, it just makes you strong. The skills you develop by going it alone, by believing in yourself when nobody else does, by persisting through doubt and discouragement, these skills serve you for life. They become part of your character. They shape how you approach every challenge, every opportunity, every decision. You become someone who doesn't need perfect conditions to perform. You become someone who doesn't need constant encouragement to persist. You become someone who doesn't need guaranteed outcomes to take action. You become self-sufficient in the most important ways. This self-sufficiency is freedom. It's the freedom to pursue any goal without permission. It's the freedom to take any path without approval. It's the freedom to become anyone you choose to become without limitation. This is the true reward of learning to do it alone when nobody believes in you. As we close, here's my thought. Your dreams are not too big. Your goals are not unrealistic. Your plans are not impossible. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to go after it, even if you have to go alone. Stop waiting for believers. Become your own first believer. Stop seeking supporters. Become your own strongest supporter. Stop looking for someone to give you permission to be great. Give yourself that permission right now. The world is waiting for what you have to offer. The world needs your unique contribution. The world is better when you're living up to your full potential. But the world won't beg you to succeed. The world won't force you to grow. The world won't make you pursue your dreams. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your opportunity. And it starts with a simple decision. The decision to believe in yourself, even when nobody else does. The decision to do it alone if necessary. The decision to start today, regardless of who supports you. Make that decision now. Your future depends on it. What separates the successful from unsuccessful? It's not talent, though talent helps. It's not luck, though opportunities matter. It's not connections, though relationships are valuable. What separates them is their relationship with discomfort. Successful people have learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They've learned to function effectively even when they feel uncertain, anxious, or alone. Most people run from discomfort. When they feel uncertain, they quit. When they feel anxious, they retreat. When they feel alone, they conform. But the person who learns to push through discomfort, who learns to work despite uncertainty, who learns to persist despite being alone, that person develops an unstoppable advantage. Think about it this way. Every skill you've ever developed came through discomfort. You learned to walk by falling down repeatedly. You learned to read by struggling with words you didn't understand. You learn to drive by feeling nervous and awkward behind the wheel. Growth and discomfort are inseparable companions. The same principle applies to building the life of your dreams. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel uncertain. You're going to feel alone sometimes. But these feelings aren't signals to quit. They're signals that you're growing, that you're pushing beyond your current limitations, that you're becoming more than you were yesterday. Here's something most people never realize. The discomfort of pursuing your dreams is temporary, but the regret of not pursuing them is permanent. The anxiety you feel when taking risks fades, but the regret of playing it safe haunts you forever. The loneliness of working toward your goals ends when you achieve them, but the emptiness of settling for less follows you everywhere. So when you feel that discomfort, when you feel that fear, when you feel that loneliness, recognize it for what it is. It's not a warning to stop. It's confirmation that you're on the right path. It's evidence that you're doing something worthwhile. It's proof that you're becoming the person you need to be to create the life you want. Don't tell you something else. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has felt exactly what you're feeling right now. They've questioned themselves. They've wondered if they were making the right choice. They felt afraid and alone and uncertain. But they kept going anyway. They felt the fear and did it anyway. They felt alone and continued anyway. They felt uncertain and pressed forward anyway. That's what courage really is. It's not the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. It's not the absence of doubt. It's persistence in the presence of doubt. It's not the absence of loneliness. It's determination in the presence of loneliness. You have that courage inside you right now. You've always had it. The question isn't whether you're brave enough to succeed. The question is whether you'll access that bravery when you need it most. The question is whether you'll trust yourself enough to take the next step, even when you can't see where it leads. Remember this, every day you wait is a day your dreams get older. Every day you hesitate is a day your potential remains unrealized. Every day you seek permission from others is a day you could be giving yourself permission to begin. Your time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect, now. Today, this moment. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you and start believing in yourself. Stop looking for external validation and start creating internal conviction. Stop seeking permission and start taking action. The greatest tragedy in life isn't failing to achieve your dreams, it's failing to pursue them. It's reaching the end of your life and wondering what might have been if you just had the courage to try. Don't let that be your story. Write a different ending. Start today.